What's up, decoders? Hope you guys are awesome today. Welcome to the live stream. Give it a few minutes here. See if we can get some people to join. Please give me the thumbs up in the chat if you guys can hear and if the screen is visual or the visual is good. Thank you for the thumbs up. You guys are on it. Appreciate you guys today. Like I said, hope everyone's doing well. Hello, Jackson. Hello, brother. How are you doing? Glad that you're a part of the community, brother. Awesome to have you. Jackson. Hello, another war machine. Jack Burton, how are you? Cody Garro is saying to reach out to him and arrange when he can come on. Reach out to Garro and set it up. Oh, okay. So yeah, I'll have to try to reach out and plan a time. Yeah, but thanks for letting me know, Jack. Appreciate it. Hello, Bruno. Hello, Chia. Hello, Coffee Girl. Hello, Discerning King. Hope you guys are all well. We will wait another minute or two, and then we will get into it. So this one, guys, this one's going to go crazy. I mean, some of you may not think this is big. Some of you may think this is big. I really hope that Casey May is in the chat. Casey May has pointed out to me the Francis Bacon, William Shakespeare, King James connection. So we're going to talk a lot about this Francis Bacon stuff. You know, if you guys haven't seen my prior video, my introduction to the Francis Bacon, I'm going to kind of recap it here. So hello, Storm Chaser. Hello, True Spirits. And hello, Matt Lloyd. Hope you guys are well. Yeah, I will check out the Arthur films. I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't looked a lot into the King Arthur and the Round Table stuff yet. Maybe there'll be a part 2 to this video. I don't know yet. But so far, this video is mainly just focusing on the Clash at the Castle, which is a WWE event that's coming up on June 15th. Okay. So anyways, let's jump into it, because I want to get into this for the people watching on the replay. So basically, we're going to talk about Scotland. We're going to talk about the Rosicrucians, the Freemasons. We're going to talk about this event that's coming up called Clash at the Castle in Scotland on June 15th. So one day after Trump's birthday. And yeah, we're going to talk about the Rose, Scotland, the Castle, Trump, and Francis Bacon. Okay, so we're going to talk about a lot of things here, but the main point of this whole decode is going to be the Rosicrucian and the Francis Bacon code. Okay, so let's get into it. So if you guys missed my video that I did, this one, Run for the Roses, okay? If you guys didn't see this, I covered these ciphers, okay? These are the Francis Bacon ciphers, and we're going to be using these ciphers in this decode, and I'm going to show you how these ciphers are being implemented, okay? Clearly implemented, all right? And I don't think what I'm about to show you here is new info that no one's probably ever seen, okay? And this is how it's going to go down, guys. So in case you guys are wondering, what are the numbers encoded by Francis Bacon, and why did he encode these numbers? So let's just read through this for a minute, and then we're going to get the overview, and then we're going to start with the decode, okay? So this is a excerpt from a writing about the Rosy Cross, the Rosicrucians essentially, and how Francis Bacon coded his own ciphers. Okay, so let's just go over it. For instance, in Francis Bacon's Advancement and Proficience of Learning in 1640, there are 287 letters on the front page, 287 letters on the dedication page, 287 letters on the page 215, which is falsely numbered and should in reality be the 287th page. just to make sure that we get the message. So the 287 is the first number, okay? He coded his whole book with this 287, okay? Each of these key pages is therefore signed for a rosy cross in K cipher, okay? And another number that we're going to be watching out for is the 157, okay? The reason that is because the title page of Folio, Shakespeare's play, the Folio, it contains 157 letters in its words, the count of Fra Rosy Cross, okay? So this is what this is all about, guys. Francis Bacon and the Fra Rosy Cross, all right? So the 157 and the 287 are the numbers to watch throughout this whole decode. I'm going to show you how this is being implemented. I am going to show you proof that this cipher is being implemented right now in this day and age by people, okay? Or by somebody. Maybe it's the matrix itself. I don't know. But this is being used, okay? So let's jump into it. Again, these are the three ciphers. This is the key cipher, which I'm going to use here. This is starting with the 27, with the K being the center point letter, the key, okay? And G having a value of 33, okay? Like the Freemason G, right? And this is the simple Francis Bacon cipher with the numbers 1 through 24, where the letters U and the letters J are not involved because they're the same letter. In the alphabet of that time, the letter I was representative of J too. So there's no J and there's no U, okay? And of course, this is the reverse cipher. So these three are the Francis Bacon ciphers. And again, we're going to talk about these numbers encoded by Francis Bacon, 287 and 157, okay? So here we go. So there's an event coming up on June 15th, okay? One day after Trump's 78th birthday. And the event is called Clash at the Castle, okay? Which should already make you think of Francis Bacon and King James, right? King James, Francis Bacon, you know, they're tied together, right? So anyway, the main character of this show, as you can see on the front, is a guy by the name of Andrew McLean Galloway. He's a Scottish wrestler, born June 6, 1985, but he wrestles under the ring name Drew McIntyre, okay? So Drew McIntyre is the Scottish wrestler who is on the front of the WWE promo for Clash at the Castle. And then look at the gematria, guys. Drew McIntyre, 157, Clash at the Castle, 157. Now, here's where we're going to use the Bacon cipher. Again, what was the secret code encoded by Francis Bacon? It was the 157, guys. Okay, you see this? All right, so just so you guys can see, it's the 157, right? So what are the chances that Drew McIntyre and Clash at the Castle both equal 157? And if you use the Francis Bacon cipher, okay, the city that this is taking place in, Glasgow, Scotland, Glasgow equals 157, okay? So you have this, this is the basic gematria, right? The standard gematria that we use all the time, but in the key cipher, the Bacon key cipher, Glasgow, which is where the event is taking place, equals 157, okay? This is Francis Bacon's code, right? Again, I'm going to go back to this and show you. This is Francis Bacon's code for the Fra Rosy Cross, all right? Now, I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove it over and over again to you guys that this is the code, okay? There should be no doubt by the end of this, all right? So again, here's this same picture from the first slide, right? The 287 and the 157, okay? So let's go through this. Clash at the Castle is in Scotland, right? But look at this. Again, the Fra Rosy Cross fraternity, Francis Bacon, okay? This is where we learned about it, right? It equals 157 in the simple Bacon cipher, and in the key Bacon cipher, it equals 287, okay? So 157, 287. This is your signature code right here, the Fra Rosy Cross. Now look at this. This is Francis Bacon's cipher, right? Francis Bacon, 287. Drew McIntyre, guys. Drew McIntyre. This is proof they're using it because I just showed you that Drew McIntyre equals 157, which is the first Francis Bacon code. Okay. You see this? Here's the Francis Bacon 157 code, and here's the 287 code. So Drew McIntyre has both the 157 and the 287. Do you see this? Drew McIntyre literally equals Francis Bacon, okay? 287. This is his code number. And what are the chances that Drew McIntyre, the guy on the front of this Clash at the Castle, which equals 157, he was born on the 157th day of the year. Okay? The 157th day of the year. His name equals 157. The Rosy Cross, 157 and 287. Like Drew McIntyre, like Francis Bacon. Okay? This man, this guy, Drew McIntyre, is coded with Francis Bacon with his numbers. Okay? Do you guys understand this? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you guys are understanding this. I know this is new info. I'm pioneering this. I'm not the first one to show this stuff, but I'm the first one to find this being clearly used in our world today. I mean, it's being used, but I found a clear evidence that this is being used. Okay. So again, these ciphers, these Rosicrucian Francis Bacon ciphers, okay, are just absolutely insane, right? Because again, we're focusing on the 287 and the 157. Okay, that's simple as that, right? Drew McIntyre 157, Drew McIntyre 287 in the Francis Bacon key cipher, Francis Bacon 287. Okay, and again, Drew McIntyre born on the 157th day of the year. Okay, so perfect. Now, what if I told you that the guy that Drew McIntyre is going to be facing at Clash at the Castle is Luis Martinez? That's his real name, Luis Martinez. And what if I told you that Luis Martinez also equals 157, guys? Okay, do you guys understand this now? So at Clash at the Castle, Drew McIntyre, which equals 157, is facing Luis Martinez, which equals 157. And it's going to happen in Glasgow, which equals 157. Okay. And the name of the show itself, Clash at the Castle, 157. All right. So there's more proof. It's going to keep coming too. This is going to be the most obvious thing as I keep going through this. All right. So let's talk about this. All right. So how does this connect to the Freemasons, right? So let's read this. The Masonic poem Muses and Theanode of the Mirthful Mornings on the Death of Mr. Gall, written by Henry Adamson of Perth and published in Edinburgh in 1638, refers to the Brethren of the Rosy Cross and associates them with Freemasonry. Thus Mr. Gall assured it would be so, and my good genius doth surely know, for what we presage is not in gross, for what we be the brethren of the Rosy Cross. Cross, maybe it's cross, but we have the Mason word and second sight. Things for to come we can foretell all right. The higher degrees of the original 17th century speculative Freemasonry were in fact Rosicrucian. Once a Freemason had undergone a symbolic death and been raised to become a Master Mason, he was then exalted to the Holy Royal Archdegree, where he would discover the Mason word, representing the Word of God. This is revelation. Thus, the Royal Arch Companion has second sight and the gift of prophecy. Things for to come we foretell all right. Revelation, illumination, okay? So this is the connection. This is the connection between the Rosy Cross, which was connected to Francis Bacon. Let me go back one more time. Francis Bacon and the Rosy Cross, okay? And this guy writes about how the Rosy Cross is connected to the Freemasons and how when a Master Mason has graduated, he becomes the Mason word. He receives the Mason word representing the word of God. Okay. And this is where it gets crazy. Look at the coat of arms for Henry Adamson, the guy who wrote this Masonic poem. Okay. The guy who wrote this right here. Henry Addison is a Scottish poet, like Drew McIntyre is a Scottish wrestler, right? And look at his coat of arms, guys. It's literally a sword. If you guys don't think this is a sword, then I don't know what, but this is literally 3 swords on his coat of arms. Just like how Drew McIntyre is always associated with the sword, okay? So now we're going to start talking about the sword because it's going to be another main theme of this, okay? So, again, this is what I read to you. For we, the brethren of Rosy Cross, we have the Mason word, which is second sight, okay? Look at the gematria in Francis Bacon cipher for second sight. The gift of prophecy equals second sight, 157 in Bacon reverse, okay? Remember, Drew McIntyre. Let's go back one last time here. Drew McIntyre, 157. Clash at the Castle, 157. Drew McIntyre's opponent, Luis Martinez, 157. Glasgow, where it's taking place, 157. France, the Rosy Cross, 157. Okay. So in this poem, it says we get the Mason word and second sight. And second sight in Francis Bacon cipher equals 157. Okay. And look at this. The name McIntyre. Okay. The name McIntyre are Scottish and Irish surnames derived from the Gaelic Macintyre, literally meaning son of a craftsman or mason. Okay, so here you go. Son of a mason. McIntyre means son of a mason. And here it says that the Mason word or second sight and Drew McIntyre equals 157, like second sight. Okay. And it gets better. It keeps going, guys. Now we're going to bring in Donald Trump because, again, this show is happening one day after Donald Trump's 78th birthday, okay? This event is happening in Scotland, okay? In the Bible, in Ezekiel 21, in the King James Version, it says, the Son of Man, set thy face toward Jerusalem and drop thy word toward the holy places and prophesy against the land of Israel and say to the land of Israel, thus saith the Lord, behold, I am against thee and will draw forth my sword out of its sheath and will cut off from thee the righteous and the wicked. Seeing that I will cut off from thee the righteous and the wicked, therefore shall my sword go forth out of his sheath against all flesh from the south to the north, that all flesh may know that I, the Lord, have drawn forth my sword out of his sheath. It shall not return anymore. Okay? So, again, this verse all about God's judgment and the sword. Okay? What is Donald Trump going through right now, guys? He is going through a judgment. He is about to be judged by a judge. Okay? This event that's coming up one day after Trump's birthday is in Scotland. Okay? And the guy on the front is Andrew. Okay, this is important. Drew McIntyre is the face of the Scottish wrestling. Okay? His name is Andrew, guys. What a joke is that? Because the Scottish flag is the St. Andrew's cross. So you have Andrew. Drew McIntyre's name is Andrew. The flag of Scotland is the St. Andrew's cross, which can represent judgment, the X cross. Okay. But look at this. Trump is about ready to be judged by a judge. Okay. And one day after his birthday, this judgment sword, again, this sword is all about judgment. Go look up the chapter Ezekiel 21. It talks about God's sword of judgment. Okay. And this is a judgment, guys. Why do you think that sword equals Trump? Why do you think that Andrew equals, well, just look at this, guys. The number 25 and 29 are all coded through this. Scotland, where this is taking place, equals 25. Sword equals 25 and 29. Trump equals 25 and 29 in the same ciphers. Judge equals 25. And Andrew, kind of like Andrew's cross, equals 29. So all these things are connected. And all this is connected to what Donald Trump is going through right now. And to make it even more of a point, at Clash at the Castle, Drew McIntyre is facing Damian Priest, or what I told you earlier, Luis Martinez, and he is part of the group called the Judgment Day. Okay, so there you go again, guys. So that means that Drew McIntyre is facing a member of the Judgment Day. Once again, going back to the judge and the sword in Ezekiel 21, my sword of his sheath, and I will cut off from thee the righteous and the wicked. This is the sword of judgment. Okay. So now, how does Trump connect to Scotland? Okay. How does Trump connect to Scotland? Well, very clearly he connects to Scotland. Why? His mother was literally Scottish, guys. Mary Ann Trump MacLeod was born May 10th, 1912, was the wife of the real estate developer Fred Trump and the mother of Donald Trump. Born in the Outer Hebrides of Scotland. Okay? So there you go. Donald Trump's mother, born in Scotland. And look at his mother's name after her marriage. Look at the gematria in the Bacon reverse cipher. Again, this is the code number throughout this whole decode. If you guys missed the beginning, you guys might not understand why this is the code number, but this is the Francis Bacon code number, okay? The King James code number. Look at Donald Trump's mother's name, Mary Ann Trump, guys, 157. Can you believe it? Can you guys believe it? Donald Trump's mother has the Francis Bacon code cipher, as I showed you in the beginning of this, and she's from Scotland. And this WWE event is one day after Trump's birthday in Scotland, and Drew McIntyre is on the front cover, which equals 157. The title is Clash at the Castle, which equals 157. Okay? So again, here it is. Here's the link. There's going to be more. There's going to be way more, guys. This gets even deeper. The end of this decode should blow your mind. Okay? So I want to talk about Donald Trump's mother really fast because, again, I said that this is all connected to the Rosy Cross. Okay, the Rose Cross, which looks like a sword. Don't forget, guys, this looks like a sword, a cross, right? But again, Donald Trump's mother's name is Mary, and Mary is a 4 out of 4 cipher match to Rose. And so that's why you're going to keep seeing the word Mary being used, okay? Rose and Mary are a direct match, okay? So Donald Trump's mother, Donald Trump, all connected to the Rosicrucian, the Rosy Cross. Her name even has the 157, which is the Rosy Cross code number. Okay. So now we have Casey May. I'm glad you're in here because I've completely cracked your code with wrestling. I don't know if you missed the beginning, Casey May, but this Drew McIntyre, Casey May, have you ever seen somebody coded so perfectly with these numbers? Like, I know you don't like wrestling, but this is it. I found it, man. I found the complete code. I mean, I'm so excited about this. This is groundbreaking because, like, Drew McIntyre, again, if you missed the beginning, Casey May, I covered it in the beginning how Drew McIntyre is completely coded with the Rosicrucians, with the 187, 157 and the 287. All right, so let's just talk about the connection between Donald Trump and Drew McIntyre for a minute, okay? So Drew McIntyre carries around a sword called a claymore, okay? I mean, you can stay till the end, Casey May, because all of it comes together at the very end. I bring it all together there. It should blow your mind because you're the one that brought all this information to me. So big shout out to you for bringing this to me, and then I decode my wrestling, and I find the perfect example of what you've been talking about. So anyways, notice that the sword, the claymore, right here, Drew McIntyre, a claymore, or also known as the great sword, is either the Scottish variant of a late medieval two-handed sword or the Scottish variant of a basket-hilted sword. Okay, so this is a Scottish sword, a claymore, right? And this is what it looks like, guys. And look at the similarities between a claymore, right? A sword and a rosy cross. You see it? Even the way the shape lines up. You have the two shorter ends on the side, like here, and you have the shorter end on top and the long end on the bottom, like a cross, right? And again, this connects because, again, this is Scottish. Now, what are the chances that in the Latin Jewish cipher, one of the hardest ciphers to get matches, Donald Trump equals Claymore? Okay. And again, this event with Drew McIntyre is coming one day after Donald Trump's birthday. Okay. So Donald Trump literally equals the finishing move of Drew McIntyre. Donald Trump, they're telling you, Donald Trump is the finishing move of the world. He is the finisher, okay? The sword that cuts through, the claymore. That's what Donald Trump is encoded as. 589, Donald Trump Claymore, 589. This is insane, okay? And again, I'm going to talk more about the Claymore and Drew McIntyre in a little bit, but I just wanted to point this out, okay? So how else is Donald Trump and Drew McIntyre tied together? Okay, so look at this. Drew McIntyre, when he first came into the WWE, he was known as the Chosen One. You see this, guys? The Chosen One. What did Trump say? What did Trump say? He said, I am the Chosen One. So not only did Trump say I'm the Chosen One, this guy was known as the Chosen One. And his other nickname, Drew McIntyre, is the Scottish Warrior. The Scottish Warrior, okay? And what are the chances that the Scottish Warrior is a 3 out of 4 cipher match to President Donald Trump? Okay. You guys see this? Mic drop. Okay. 3 out of 4 cipher match, the Scottish Warrior, President Donald Trump. Okay. And his other nickname, Drew McIntyre, is the Chosen One. And Trump said he was the Chosen One. Okay. So you cannot get any more connected than these two characters. All right. Now, in the Jewish cipher, the Chosen One equals 404. And this is insane because it equals Scotsman, okay, a Scotsman is a native inhabitant of Scotland and a man of Scottish descent. This is Drew McIntyre, a Scottish. President Donald Trump is of Scottish descent, okay? So you could say that Donald Trump is also of Scotsman, okay? Oh, thank you, Casey May. Wow. The Chosen One, 287 modern K. Wow, how did I miss that? Well, that's going to go with my code later on then. So I don't know how I missed that. Okay, so in case Kampala Harris is asking, who was Drew McIntyre chosen by? Drew McIntyre was chosen to be the Chosen One in WWE by Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And don't you guys remember, when Donald Trump appeared in WWE, he shaved Vincent Kennedy McMahon's head. Okay, so Vince McMahon and Donald Trump are super connected. Trump is super connected with the WWE. Okay, he appeared in the WWE and shaved Vince McMahon's head. Vince McMahon was the one who chose Drew McIntyre as the Chosen One. Okay, but remember, in the book of Revelation, there are 404 verses right here. 22 chapters, 404 verses. The Chosen One, 404. The Scotsman, 404, okay? In the Jewish cipher, okay? So this tells us a story again. Again, guys, don't forget, Drew McIntyre, his main debut is going to be one day after Trump's birthday, or his show that he's on the cover of is one day after Trump's birthday, okay? So let's talk about Drew McIntyre and his Claymore. Drew McIntyre's mother was named Angela Ann Galloway. You see the angel right there, guys? Like angel, fallen angel, something like that, okay? Angela Ann Galloway, Drew McIntyre's mother, died when he was still young, okay? She died on November 3rd, 2012, very young. And Drew McIntyre, on the day she died, was exactly 113 days old. Well, if you drop the zeros in this number, 113 equals 113, which is the date she died, and the word Scottish equals 113. So from the Scottish character to his mom's death, he was 113, and on 113, the Scottish lady dies, and Scottish equals 113. McIntyre named his Claymore Angela after his mother. Okay, so his sword that he carries around, his Claymore, is named Angela. Okay. And again, don't forget, Donald Trump's mother was middle named Ann, just like Drew McIntyre's mother. Drew McIntyre's mother is Angela Ann Galloway. Donald Trump's mother is Mary Ann McLeod. Both Scottish, both have the middle name Ann. Okay. In fact, Drew McIntyre's mother has Ann, Angela, and Ann. You see the AN? It's all over the place. You see? So definitely a huge connection here between Trump and Drew McIntyre over and over again. Okay. So again, I covered this before, but now we're going to bring the Bible into it again, because I told you that the chosen one, Drew McIntyre, and Donald Trump said he was the chosen one, equals 404. Well, in the book of Revelation, there's 404 chapters. Okay. And in the Bible, it says the phrase sword of the Spirit appears in the Bible in Ephesians 6:17, where the Apostle Paul describes the word of God as a weapon used in spiritual warfare against the devil and demons. Paul tells the Ephesian Christians to put on the sword of the Spirit as part of the full armor of God to help them stand against evil. Okay. So you have this excerpt, right? And it talks about in 6:17, it talks about how the sword of the Spirit, right? And basically saying that everything is connected with the sword of the Spirit. And then if you go to the book of Revelation, it says in Revelation 1:16, it says, and he had in his right hand 7 stars, out of his mouth went sharp two-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun. So a sharp two-edged sword, right? That's the phrase they use. This is the King James, which is going to be important later. King James is all connected to this. The sharp two-edged sword equals sword of the Spirit in 3 out of 4 ciphers. You see this? And it has the 224 encoded. And this is the year that we're in, guys. 224 year, right? Sharp two-edged sword and sword of the Spirit, 224, 8991, 3 cipher match. Okay. So again, Drew McIntyre always walking around with the sword. Okay. And I talked about in the beginning, the word of God. I talked about that if you guys are just getting in, you guys are missing so much. You guys got to go back and watch this whole thing. There's so many moving parts for you guys to understand how I'm fully bringing this together. I talked about this earlier in the decode. I talked about how in this writing, they talk about how the Rosicrucians or the Rosy Cross, we have the Mason word or second sight, but it talks about the word, right? The word, which is the sword, okay? And or the pen. Yeah, you could say that the pen, something you can write stuff down with, it can also be in a way like a sword, right? So anyways, what are the chances that Drew McIntyre's full Scottish name, and look how he has the Andra. You see this? His mother's name was Angela. I'll go back to this slide. His mother's name was Angela Ann, right? You got the A-N. Trump's mother's middle name was Ann, another A-N. His name is Andrew, right? Another A-N. And then his full name is Andra. This is the Scottish way to say his name, Ann. It's got the word Ann right in it again. Andra McGill Ian Gal Gahiba. I don't know how to say this, guys, but this is his full Scottish name, right? Scottish Gaelic. And what are the chances that his full Scottish Gaelic name equals 276? Just like the verse in Matthew 10:34, where Jesus says, think not that I am come to send peace on the earth. I come not to send peace, but a sword. So Drew McIntyre, the guy all connected with the sword Angela, and his name being his full name equaling this whole verse, guys. Think not that I am come to send peace on the earth. I am come not to send peace, but a sword equals 276. His full name equals 276. And he's come to bring the sword. Okay. And again, this is what Jesus says in Matthew 10:34. Okay. So I thought that was crazy. And let's see. All right, so this is where it gets more crazy. We're gonna revert back to the code, right? I should have put this all together, but we're gonna revert back to the code of the 157, the Francis Bacon 157. This is the code that's going to blow your guys' mind. It should blow your guys' mind because they're clearly using this code in WWE right now. Okay. Why is that? First of all, this show, Clash at the Castle, the current Clash at the Castle, is on June 15th. Okay. One day after Trump's birthday. But what if I told you guys that June 15th is the day they're celebrating King Charles' monarch birthday? Can you guys believe it? They scheduled this show in Scotland where his mother died, where King Charles' mother died in Scotland. They scheduled this show, Clash at the Castle, on his celebrated birthday, June 15th. See, this year in 2024, King Charles' monarch official birthday is on June 15th. Okay, what a coincidence. I mean, just what a coincidence, right? I mean, in the very same city that his mother died, or the same country is in Scotland, and it's on the day that they're, it's on the same day. But let's talk about this girl, because this is a girl that's supposed to be returning to WWE around this same date, guys, and she's Scottish. She's from Glasgow, Scotland, which again is where this show is going to be taking place in Glasgow, okay? But look at this. This girl is named Nikki Cross, but her real name is Nicola Glenn Cross. And what would you know? This blew my mind, guys. What would you know? Her name in the Francis Bacon cipher, guys, the coded 157 for Francis Bacon, her name equals 157. Mic drop, pen drop, whatever you want to call it. That is so insane if you guys understand what I'm showing you right now. She's from Glasgow, which equals 157 in the Bacon key cipher, and her name in the Bacon simple cipher. Okay. Yeah, I already showed that, Casey May. Drew McIntyre 287 in K, right? So what are the chances that this Scottish, and look at when she's born, guys. Look at this mockery. Look at when this girl is born. She's born April 21st. That's the Queen's birthday. She's from Scotland. Where did the Queen die? At Balmoral Castle in Scotland. Now remember, there's been two Clash at the Castles. Okay, the reason I'm bringing up this Clash at the Castle is because this event predicted the Queen's death in 2022. This is the current Clash at the Castle coming up on June 15th, right? But the first Clash at the Castle was on September 3rd, 2022. That was exactly 5 days before the Queen would die in Scotland. Do you guys understand this? 5 days after this Clash at the Castle, the Queen dies in a castle in Scotland. And now this girl who's from Scotland, who shares a birthday with the Queen, is going to be returning around this Clash at the Castle. Do you see? This is the current one that's coming up. She's going to be returning in Scotland around this time, and the Queen died in Scotland, okay? And her name equals 157, like Clash at the Castle, like Drew McIntyre, who was involved in both of these. See, Drew McIntyre on the front cover of this, and the other Clash at the Castle before the Queen died in 2022. Here's Drew McIntyre again, guys, with his sword. This was telling us the Queen was going to die. This was clearly telling us 5 days before it happened that the Queen was going to die, okay? And now they're repeating this event one more time. So what's going to happen 5 days after June 15th? Do you think they're going to repeat the pattern? Probably not, but if they do, it would be insane. Is King Charles going to die 5 days after this Clash at the Castle? I don't know, but I do find it interesting that King Charles, 5 days after June 15th, is one day before Prince William's birthday. Okay, so that would be interesting. But anyways, this is insane, and it gets even more insane, guys. It gets even more insane. The last appearance on TV that this girl made, Nikki Cross, the Scottish wrestler who's going to return soon, the last appearance she made, she was like this, guys. Look at this ritual. There's no reason for them to have her standing in a catatonic state in the middle of the ring in her last appearance. You see this? She just stood there looking into oblivion, basically just not there, okay? And this was a ritual. Why do they have this person standing there like this for no reason? Even the fans in the arena were like, what is this stupid stuff? Like, what is the point of this type of ritual other than if you're doing it on purpose? Okay? Why is she doing that? Well, because if you watch this video, guys, the announcer says that she's in a catatonic state. And what would you believe if this word catatonic equals 157? Can you guys believe that? I mean, I just went back to find her last match, and the main word that they used to describe her was catatonic, and it just happens to equal 157, which again is the code number throughout this whole decode. And again, her name in the Bacon cipher equals 157. Okay? And look at this. In 2023, Nikki Cross, this same girl, got her degree in history from University of Edinburgh. And the University of Edinburgh was royal chartered by King James VI. And this is the mic drop moment, because this brings it all together, guys. I want you guys to understand what you're seeing right now. I don't think anyone has brought the current events perfectly together and shown how this ties to King James and Francis Bacon and William Shakespeare. What I'm about ready to show you is insane info, okay? Nikki Cross is said to have gone to Edinburgh and graduated with a degree in history. This is the same university that King James I, which equals 157 in Bacon cipher, or he's also known as James VI, which equals 157. And if you go to the capital cipher, it also equals 157. Do you see this? King James is coded with the 157 3 different times. And this girl's name equals 157, and she was in a catatonic state, which equals 157. And she graduated with a degree in history from Edinburgh, which is where King James had a royal charter in 1582. Okay? Give me a thumbs up if you guys understand what I'm showing you right now, because this is all about King James, guys. It's all about King James and Francis Bacon. They coded this number 157. I showed you guys at the beginning the 157 287 code connected with the Rosy Cross and Francis Bacon. Okay. So this goes all the way back to King James, right? And if you think of King James, you should think of Francis Bacon, because again, here's the code, the Francis Bacon code. I'm going to bring all this together now. Okay. The Rosy Cross 287 cipher. Again, in Francis Bacon's Advancement in Proficiency of Learning, there are 287 letters on the front piece, 287s on the dedication, 287 letters on 215, which is supposed to be page 287. Okay. And that's because in his Francis Bacon cipher, the Rosy Cross equals 157, which is the number I've been talking about this whole decode, and 287. Like Drew McIntyre, who's on the front of the cover of Clash at the Castle, which equals 157, like Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was born on the 157th day of the year. He's going to be fighting in Glasgow, which equals 157. Francis Bacon, 287. Drew McIntyre literally equals Francis Bacon in Francis Bacon's cipher, guys. Do you guys understand how undeniable that is? Drew McIntyre literally equals 287 in the same cipher as Francis Bacon in Francis Bacon's own cipher that he created and he coded. Okay, so that's why this is clearly being used to code to Francis Bacon. There can be, and if you wanted a question after that, look at from the first Clash at the Castle to this upcoming Clash at the Castle, both with Drew McIntyre on the front. It's 1 year, 287 days. What is the chance of that, guys? 287 days? This is the number. There's no chance. This is between both of these, okay? Like, this is his name, Drew McIntyre. He's on the cover of both of these. And it just, when I saw this, I was like, are you kidding me? 1 year, 287 days apart? And this is the code number for Francis Bacon? I mean, it's undeniable. Okay? So this is the code, guys, and I'm going to be going back to this code over and over and over again because I've discovered this code now in wrestling, and I guarantee you I'm going to find it more and more and more because I've already showed you guys, wrestling is the go-to, man. Wrestling is a gold mine, and people just ignore it, but I'm not ignoring it. It's a gold mine. And what I'm finding, most people aren't going to find because they write off wrestling because it's some sort of fake stuff. But no, it's real. It's coded and it's alive. This gematria in wrestling is alive, So, and I'm showing you proof of that right now. So let's bring it all together, okay? Let's bring it all together, all right? I just showed you all the 287s and 157s connected to these events coming up. Okay, here's all the code, right? Now, what if I told you that this is all connected to Francis Bacon or William Shakespeare? Okay, let's go over this. The Baconian theory of Shakespearean authorship contends that Sir Francis Bacon, philosopher, essayist, and scientist, wrote the plays which are publicly attributed to William Shakespeare. Okay, so this is called the Baconian theory. And it was basically saying that Francis Bacon, who encoded this cipher right here, the 287 code cipher, okay, he was the one who was responsible for the William Shakespeare writings, okay? And so what are the chances that in the reverse ordinal cipher, Baconian equals 157? Okay, do you guys see this? Baconian. This is the Baconian theory about Francis Bacon being William Shakespeare. It equals 157, which is William's code number. William Shakespeare 157. William 157. Okay, you see it? And isn't it interesting that King James, or that King Charles' son, who can come into the throne soon, is also named William. Prince William of Wales. So that's why I'm saying watch out for King Charles. Okay. But William equals 157, like Baconian, like William Tudor the First. So you guys got to read down here at the bottom. Okay. The Baconian theory developed a new twist, writings in Orville Owen. I'll just let you guys read down at the bottom. Okay. The most remarkable revelation was that Bacon was the son of Queen Elizabeth I. According to Owen, Bacon revealed that Elizabeth was secretly married to Robert Dudley, Earl of Leicester, who fathered both Bacon and Robert de Vaux. Okay. So if Francis Bacon was really Queen Elizabeth I's son, he would be named William Tudor the First. And this is where, again, thank you, Casey May. Thank you, Casey May, for bringing all this together. But William Tudor the First just happens to equal 157 and 287. These are the key numbers, guys. And if his name was originally supposed to be this, William Tudor the First, this is a perfect connection. And look at this. If you go to the ordinal cipher, if you just type in William Tudor, it equals 157. If you type in William Tudor the First, it equals 157. If you type in William, it equals 157. Okay? Just like the Ferozzi cross, which was Sir Francis Bacon's cipher, which he encoded into all of this. Okay? And what are the chances that the history of the Baconian theory supposedly started with the alleged research by James Wilmot? And what are the chances, guys? James Wilmot, the guy who supposedly started the theory about Bacon being the son, okay, about the Bacon being William Shakespeare, his name, James Wilmot, just happens to also equal the 157, just like all the other ones I just showed you. Okay? And it gets even better, because what about this play? What about this play that was written by William Shakespeare? It was, or this speech given by Hamlet. Everyone knows this one, guys. To be or not to be. What are the chances? What are the chances that the phrase to be or not to be in the Bacon cipher equals 157, guys? And they attribute this to the so-called nunnery scene. And what are the chances that nunnery scene equals 157, like Baconian? So again, guys, even the Shakespeare to be or not to be is encoded in the nunnery scene, which it has the same numbers, guys. Okay? So I'll just go back one more time to show you how this is all connected. Okay? And it's all connected to right now, because this is happening right now, guys. This event and this thing is happening right now. Don't forget, the current WWE champion is Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes is a clear symbol of the Rosy Cross. And again, why do you think that Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes are also connected right now? Because Cody Rhodes connects to the Rosy Cross. Drew McIntyre connects to the Rosy Cross, and this is their coded cipher, the 287 and the 157. This is the code, guys, and I'm going to be following this anytime I catch this, you know? So, yeah, I mean, just absolutely insane that you have this current event connected to this William Shakespeare or Francis Bacon, right? And guys, don't overlook the fact that this slide of what I showed you, how King James is even coded with the 157s. King James the First, which he was also known by, equals 157. James the Sixth, which he was also known by, equals 157 in two different ciphers. Okay, so you get the 157 any way you look at it. Okay. And again, this girl who's going to debut, return soon in the upcoming event, her name is 157, and she was in a catatonic state, which equals 157. The last time we saw her, she was in a catatonic state, okay? And yeah, and then again, this is connected to, so let me just go out of here, out of my slides, and let me just do a bit of looking at here, because remember, we're talking about William Shakespeare, right? Well, right now we currently have Prince William. Okay, William. Remember, what did I show you guys in this one slide? Hold on. Let's see. I just got to find that slide again, guys. Hold on. Now my computer is going to be very slow, I can tell. But I need to talk about William, right? Because remember, if it is indeed true that William Shakespeare was Francis Bacon, well, the name William equals 157, right, guys? And Francis Bacon equals 287. Okay, so they got the 287, 157 again. But you have William, which equals 157. That's the code number. And Prince William is the one who can accede to the throne, right? He's next in line. So here you have the William again. And remember, there's been a lot of news about his wife this year. But again, he is the dragon prince right now because he is the Prince of Wales. We're in the dragon year, okay? But remember, I told you guys that 5 days after the first clash at the castle, so here was the first clash at the castle on September 3rd, 2022. You notice the dragon in the background, guys? You see the dragon behind here? Just like we're in the year of the dragon and the Prince of Wales is the dragon flag. Well, this was symbolic that the dragon, Prince Charles, was going to ascend to the throne when his mother died. Again, here's the Scottish wrestler. You guys get this? The Scottish wrestler loses to the dragon, Roman Reigns, and eventually King Charles would come in, and the dragon, 5 days after this event, would take over for his mother, okay? When she died in Scotland, which is where this guy was from. So this whole cover encodes the whole death and ascension of King Charles, right? But 5 days after that, this happened. So what if they repeat this? I'm not saying they're going to repeat it, But I'm just saying, what did they do? Okay. Because the second clash at the castle is on June 15th, one day after Trump's birthday. Okay. That means that if you go 5 days forward, you land on June 20th, right? 2024. Okay. So what's June 20th, 2024? Well, that just happens to be one day before William's birthday. Do you guys understand what I'm showing you? So 5 days after the original clash at the castle, the queen died. 5 days after this clash at the castle is one day before Prince William's birthday, June 20th. Prince William's birthday is June 21st. Okay. And again, this goes back to the William thing. Okay. And the 157 code, because William equals 157. Okay. So I'm not making a prediction that King Charles is going to die 5 days after this event, but I'm just saying that it would not be surprising. Yeah, it also is the summer solstice, right? I wonder what summer solstice equals. Hold on. Summer solstice. Wow, summer solstice equals Society of Jesus, Jesuit order. Crazy. I never knew that. But that doesn't surprise me at all because the Jesuits have the sun. Yeah, I already mentioned how Trump's birthday is June 14th. So you have Trump's birthday on June 14th. You have this event. And don't forget, guys, what are the chances that they're supposed to celebrate King Charles' monarch birthday on the same day as this Clash at the Castle event, June 15th? Okay. So you have Donald Trump's birthday on June 14th. You have King Charles' monarch birthday on June 15th, which is the same day as Clash at the Castle. And then 5 days later, or 6 days later, you have Prince William's birthday, which is the summer solstice, right? And that's all about the sun and the dragon and fire. And I just feel like, yeah, it could be something, guys. Could definitely be something. I'm not trying to make any predictions, but what I'm showing you here, if you guys missed it, you guys need to go back and watch from the beginning. But I just proved that this whole code is tied to Francis Bacon and the 157-287 code. Okay. So let me jump into the chat. Let me see what you guys have to say. I don't think Sean's going to be able to come on today. I know he's out of town with visiting a friend. So that's, I can't stay on too long anyway because of my limit. I can probably only stay on for about another 20 minutes. So we're going to hop into the chat and we're going to look into what you guys are saying. And don't forget, they just had King Charles release his portrait. With him looking like he's in hell. So yeah, and let's not forget, guys, thank you, Casey May, Casey May, the fact that you're mentioning this is interesting because you guys know what day the Clash at the Castle is on? It's on the 167 day of the year, okay? So there's something up with the 167 and the 157. I'm going to show you why. Notice how Drew McIntyre equals 157 and 167. I'll just pull up these two ciphers. So notice how Drew McIntyre equals 157, like he was born on the 157th day of the year, and his event that he's on the front cover of is going to be on June 15th, which is the 167th day of the year. So Drew McIntyre equals 157, 167. Kind of like William Tudor. 157, 167. Okay, you see this? Now, That's also interesting because United States equals 157 and 167, okay? The guy that Drew McIntyre's facing at Clash at the Castle, Luis Martinez, equals 167 and 157. Do you guys see this? And remember, this is called Clash at the Castle, which equals 157. Okay, so this is how it's laid out right here. Okay, Clash at the Castle, 157. Drew McIntyre versus Luis Martinez, which equals 157 and 167, like United States, like William Tudor. And again, William Tudor, if he really is the son of Elizabeth I or William Shakespeare, his actual name would be William Tudor, which would be 157 and 167. Okay. So again, what I have discovered here is proof that what Casey May has been talking about in my comments for months now, what she's been onto is being used in WWE. Okay. So thank you, Casey May, in the chat for always reminding me of these things, because now that I found it, I'm not going to stop, Oh, you're right. So Casey May also says the first person in the UK to get the V was William Shakespeare. So, yeah, I mean, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I can try to get on with that, but I just, yeah, luckily this stream doesn't need to go much longer, but I think I've made my point in this stream. And if you guys are confused, I know this is new information. I know this is a new code, but this is a code that we need to be aware of from now on. Oh, so the guy that got the first V in the UK is dead now. His name was William Shakespeare. Wow. Well, that's interesting. Oh, and if that's not it, if you guys are watching Jurassic Liars and his connection to June 11th and Donald Trump, look at what the name Elvis Presley equals. You guys see that? So even Elvis Presley has these same numbers. So there's something here, guys. There's something here. I'm telling you. If Jurassic Liars is going to be right about Elvis being returning or having his name being, don't forget, Elvis Presley was the first person to get the vax on live TV. And then it was William Shakespeare who got the V in UK, and he died. And remember, that was in Seattle. Okay. So we can't leave out the Seattle connection here. And there's probably something else I'm missing, But yeah, the June 11th thing, the June 11th thing is still on my radar, of course, because I've already made some decodes about the June 11th. So yeah. Let's see. Modoc Roughstock says Franshot Blue has a little I'd like you to review, Cody. What do you mean by a little? Maybe that's a typo. I'm not sure what you mean by he has a little. Yeah, maybe that was a typo. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the Highlander. I wanted to talk about Highlander. I wanted to talk about Braveheart. I wanted to talk about King Arthur. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. Considering the Arthur connection, the King Arthur, and how that's connected with the sword in Scotland, don't forget that this guy, the guy who could become the king at some point, his name is William Arthur. So even this William has a connection to King Arthur because he also has the Arthur in his name. So that's something to think about. Okay, Madak Rostock. Is there a specific video that I should watch of his? Is there like a specific video that I should watch of Franchot's? Yeah, I've never really watched Franchot, to be honest, but if he has some good information, I would like to see what he has. 2 days ago, you said. Okay, I'll look into that. Casey May, once again. Watch for 153s. Bacon's father, Earl of Leicester, equals 153. Yeah, I mean, that's a Jesuit order number, so that 153 is huge. So yeah, I'll be watching for that in connection. But I think I completely pounded away on the 157, 287s in this decode. Okay. Let's see. What do you guys have to say? Kimberly gives the clown face. I mean, I imagine you're talking about Franchot. I mean, I don't know. I don't never watch his stuff, so. But I mean, if there's something there that I need to see, like Franchot or that he says, then I'll check it out. So again, guys, if you haven't watched from the beginning, make sure you watch this decode from the beginning. This is a decode that requires to watch the full decode to understand how it all perfectly goes together, right? And yeah, guys, this is one of my best decodes in my opinion. If you guys think this is one of my better decodes, can you give me a thumbs up? Because that's what I think. I mean, the way I brought all this together, I mean, God kind of led me into this. And thank you to Casey May once again for bringing all this up. And yeah, I mean, it just blew my mind. Yeah, I understand, Madak Rostak. I know you're not endorsing anyone, but you're just trying to spread info, which is good. I appreciate you, and thank you for always, Madak, for always supporting this channel. You're always here, supportive. I really appreciate you. So, oh yeah, the Cody Rhodes thing. Yeah, I mean Cody Rhodes. I could have mentioned Cody Rhodes in this because Cody Rhodes is also going to be like if you look up the official poster for Clash at the Castle, and don't forget, I already showed how Cody Rhodes is completely connected to King Charles. Also, he has the same cipher as King Charles, the CR. So here's the actual poster, right? And you're going to see some interesting things here on the front of this poster. Let me explain the coding on this poster once I can get it to pop up. All right, so there's a code on these posters, just like I revealed the code on the first Clash at the Castle, told us that the Queen Elizabeth was going to die. So here's the code, guys. First of all, you have Drew McIntyre, who now has the flaming sword. You see this? You see how on the first Clash at the Castle, Drew McIntyre's sword was not shining? You see this? But now on the one that's coming, it's shining. Do you see this? And this is highlighting that's, it's his time, I think, I mean, maybe he doesn't win it at this event. I think he wins the championship this year at some point. But here's Cody Rhodes, right? The connection to the Rosy Cross. Rhodes means where roses grow. So you got the Rosy Cross right on the front of this cover. You've got Jey Uso. So who's Jey Uso? Jey Uso is literally Jesus. He's symbolic of, I'm not saying he's Jesus, guys. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that they're using him as a representation of Jesus, right? The reason is because his name is Jey Uso. It has the same sound, Gioso, Jesus, right? And he even has a similar gematria. But what I find very interesting is why are there two supposed black women sandwiched in here? Why do you think they have these people here? Well, if you guys have been watching my decode, you might understand that this may be connected to Kamala Harris taking over. Okay, and this girl in the back, her name is Cargill, Jade Cargill, and Cargill is also a Scottish last name. So she has a Scottish last name. He is Scottish. He's the Rosicrucian connection, right? Cody Rhodes. Her name is Bianca Belair, like Prince of the Air, Belair, right? And again, I'm not saying these are women. They're probably actually men, but I'm just saying based off what they represent the women, right? So this is coded, and something is going to play out that's on this cover, just like it played out, okay? Just like it played out on this cover in 2022, okay? Again, just so I can like make it clear. In 2022, 5 days before the Queen died, in Scotland, the Scottish wrestler lost to this guy who's pictured in front of the dragon. And the reason he's pictured in front of the dragon, he won, is because King Charles at the time was the dragon prince, right? So the dragon beat the Scottish person, and the Scottish person represents the death of Queen Elizabeth in Scotland at a castle, okay? She was in a castle in Scotland, and this Scottish guy literally lost at an event 5 days before called Clash at the Castle, okay? So it's so clear. And the dragon there represents the Wales connection, right? So I truly believe that this cover is coded for this year, and somehow we're going to see these characters play out. I don't know what all this means, though. Why is there two women? I mean, there's a lot of questions here. Why is there two women? Okay. Why is Cody Rhodes there? Is he representing King Charles? I don't know. And why is this character there? I still haven't quite figured it out, but I guarantee you there's some symbolism here. This might be Donald Trump. This might be King Charles. I don't know. But there's definitely, like, in my opinion, there's codes. Okay. Yeah, all roads lead to Rome. Yep, exactly. Let's see. Well, guys, I mean, if you guys don't have any more, I hope you guys really got this decode. And thank you guys so much for giving me the thumbs up. I appreciate you guys all. And if there's nothing left to say, I think I'll go ahead and close it out. But again, guys, I think this is one of my favorite decodes I've ever done. So please give this a like if you guys haven't already. Yeah, guys, I only have 91 likes. Can you please help me get over 100 likes before I end the stream? This decode probably deserves, at least 100. But yeah, there's not often where I feel like I nailed it, but I just feel like I nailed it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Monarch Roughstock. Thank you, McDaniel. Thank you, Monmon. Thank you, XX. Thank you, Kampala Harris. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Leslie Lindsay. Thank you, John Steele. Yeah, and thank you, Casey May. Thank you to all the other decoders out there. And I guess we'll end it here. So again, hit the like button before you leave, guys. And also, if you guys want to support the channel, there is a link. Buy me a coffee at the top of this chat. So thank you, Monarch Roughstock. I really appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. All right, guys, take care out there. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your holiday. I know it's Memorial Day in the United States. Enjoy your holiday, and I will see you guys in the next video. God bless. Take care.